Today's lesson is using SOH CAH TOA to solve for angles. Okay, so how do you find this? Okay, well, we've done that before. You just go cos of 30 equals 0.866. Okay, so this breaks down into the trig function, remember that? And this is always the angle, and this is what we call the trig value. It's usually a decimal or a fraction. Okay, so now here's my question. What if I give you this? How do you find the missing angle that would do that? Okay, so thinking about algebra, how does algebra work? Like if you have this, right? You would say, I want to get x alone. I do the opposite of what's going on. So if it's squared, I square root. That's how I solve it, right? Or if you had something like that, how do you solve for x? You do the opposite. So if it's add 4, you subtract 4. Okay? So here you do the same kind of idea. I want to get this alone. So how do I get rid of that? I do the opposite function, which is cos inverse. So I cos inverse both sides, just like how you would have to do the same algebra on both sides. You do the same algebra on both sides. And that would cancel. So I would get the angle equals, and so on your calculator, so this is cos -1, so I push second function cos, so now you can see that activates 0.866, and I get 30 degrees. Okay, some of you might have backwards calculators, so do you see how I typed cos inverse first and then the trig value? Some of you might have a backwards calculator where you type in the trig value and then cos inverse. Okay, so here's an example. So find that angle. Okay, so like we did before, SOH CAH TOA, we know opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse are our sides. So this is the hypotenuse, so it's across the 90. Compared to this angle, this is adjacent. This is opposite, so I obviously don't need that one. AH is the CAH of the SOH CAH TOA. So if I set it up, the cos of the angle equals the adjacent divided by the hypotenuse. Okay, so how do I solve this? I'm going to cos inverse both sides. Alright, so I'm going to go second cos. This time I'm doing a fraction, so I'm going to go bracket 10 divided by 14 equals 44.4 degrees. Okay, so I have this whole triangle. We're going to solve for this whole triangle. Okay, so if I want angle x, okay, angle x, I want to go with the opposite of x and the adjacent to x. So I'm going to do 10 opposite and the adjacent. So the tan of angle x, so from x, is its opposite side divided by its adjacent side. Okay, so how do I get x alone? I need to get rid of tan, so I tan inverse it, which means I do that to that side. second 10, and again I'm a fraction, so 10 divided by 17, and I get 30.5 degrees. Okay, now if I want angle Y, I have a 17 and a 10, so I have the opposite and the adjacent to it. So opposite and adjacent is a TOA. So tan of angle Y, so from Y though, I would take the ratio of its opposite divided by its adjacent. So tan inverse bracket 17 divided by 10 equals 59.5. Okay, I showed you this way because it's our lesson, but you obviously could have done it another way in knowing that this was 90 degrees and this was 30.5. All three of those would have to add up to 180. So you could have gone 180 minus 90 minus 30.5. That was another way to do it. Okay, and then we were asked to find z on this triangle. So this would be two sides to find the third, Pythagorean theorem. So 10 squared plus 17 squared equals z squared. So 10 squared plus 17 squared. But then don't forget you have to square root it. So z equals 19.72. Okay, one more here. So find that angle. Okay, so from this angle, this would be an opposite, and this is a hypotenuse side. So I have an O and an H. So that means I'm going to use SOH. So the sine of the angle is its ratio of the opposite side divided by its hypotenuse side. Okay, so now I'm going to sine inverse both sides to get the angle alone. Sine inverse the fraction, and I get 20.9 degrees.